Are you taxed on your state pension?
Yes, you're taxed on every retirement pension.
Oh!
But it has a cloak on it of insurance.
I love cloaks.
It's a magic cloak.
What's up, everyone? It is Vanessa from Wander Onwards, back with another financial fluency video. Today, we're talking about something super sexy, pensions. So great, so sexy. And to help me out, I have here my friend Martina, who is well qualified to talk about this. Martina, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Martina and I work as a financial advisor. I'm one of the co-founders of Horbach Expats. And today I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite topics.
So let's talk about pension provisions. And for those of us who don't know what that means, it's definitely not me. What is a pension provision?
So this is how much you have saved or accumulated prospectively for your pension. So now that we've seen how much the statutory pension could be in the best case scenario, you can tell that the statutory is going to be, statutory pension is going to be one part of your entire bucket. I'm going to draw it like a bucket.
Kind of like the cappuccino example I gave you.
Yes. So in this case here, the statutory pension is one part of it, and it's great that we have it, because if we didn't have it, then it would just be nothing at all. So it's better than having nothing, obviously, but it's still far away from the type of retirement you might want to live. So the first question to ask yourself is, when do you want to retire? What does retirement look like for you? What picture do you have? Do you want to work forever? Do you feel like you would like to work less? Are you teaching on the side? Are you doing pottery? Are you on the beach? Do you own a house? Do you have children who bring their grandchildren and you want to take them over for ice cream? What does that look like?
For me, I want to retire early at 48, and I'm taking those steps. But let's think of someone who's normal and who wants a life. I want to retire at 67 in this example, so the normal age of retirement.
So staying in Germany or going somewhere else?
Staying in Germany.
Stay in Germany, okay, perfect. So statutory pension, you're going to accumulate until 67, then you're going to receive something out of it, and then basically we need to take a look into tax optimization.
Great, because you are taxed on your pension potentially. Are you taxed on your state pension?
Yes, you're taxed on every type of pension.
Oh, okay.
So we need to take a look into your taxes optimized before as well as during retirement, right?
Okay.
Then we need to take a look into, for example, flexibility. Flexibility, what do you understand under flexibility?
When I can take that pension out.
Retirement age, but it could also be the form. If it's monthly pension or a lump sum.
Ah, yes, of course, okay.
Right, so you could have different pensions. One that is like your bucket for traveling, one is for healthcare expenses, one is for something else, right? This is another area that we can cover. And then it could be just your wealth and flexible assets. Perhaps it's a rental income that comes from something else. Perhaps it is funds that you have, for example. A car that you rent out, for example. There are many different types of investments you can do, building assets, so that when you reach retirement, every bit counts. So it's not just pension insurances, as we saw in the previous video, it's a mixture and a combination of different life stages of them all. And this is what we would like to take a look into now. So when we talk about pension in Germany, we talk about the strategical mixture of midterm and long-term investments.
And if you don't know what that means, go to this video up here to find out more.
And as we saw in this video, and we said we were going to do a little bit more detail on this area, it's I'm going to walk you through the different assets that we have, because we took a look into why is it that there is a problem. The statutory system is not enough. There's a gap. Every single person has a gap, and expats even more. Then what are your preferences, and what is the picture of what you imagine your retirement to be, and how far away are you from that? So then we need to decide what action can you take today out of your cash flow, how much can you invest today to get your money to work for you. For the earlier, the better. And this, yes, it's explicit investment advice. Please, the sooner, the better. Every bit counts, especially for retirement in the long run.
And here are some of your options. And To give an example of what my strategy is that is unique to my retirement age and plans is I'm actually investing 40% of my income every single month so I can hit retirement earlier. And there are a couple of options about what you can choose to invest in that we're going to talk about now. Confused about what to do with your money abroad? Well, I can help with that. My financial fluency course will give you the perfect overview of how taxes work, budgeting methods, investing options, and so much more. Check the description for details.
I'm going to show you the slide of pension insurances in Germany. And before you start running for the bushes when I say insurances, first of all, it's an insurance that is insuring you against two things.
What are the things?
Living too long.
Oh God.
Longevity.
Yep.
And old age poverty.
Ooh, that sounds terrible.
And also, the less obvious one, ensuring you're survivors as well.
Ah, yeah, you don't want to leave your family with nothing.
Relevant for some people. So
yeah,
depending on the different areas and your priorities on this, we can mix and match these assets. Also depending on how long you stay in Germany, depending on your citizenship, depending on your type of residence period, depending on your risk preference even.
Absolutely.
So when we're talking about these different assets, we're not talking about, oh, is this one more risky than this one? Because that's not the game. It's more like, okay, is this asset suitable for the goals that you have in that moment?
And also depending on what type of expat you are, so American living in Germany, Spanish living in Germany, etc., some of these might not be eligible for you based off of how America taxes abroad.
Not all companies offer this, and this is why it's so tricky to give like general advice. But in this area, pension insurances, I want you to imagine them as if we had a tiny superhero.
Yep.
Which is investing. It's a normal market investment. You're growing your money in the way you choose to. But it has a cloak on it of insurance.
I love cloaks.
It's a magic cloak. And this cloak protects your assets and it gives them powers. It gives them tax benefits in different areas. So before retirement, it's a tax-free capital growth gain, for example. Because the one thing that is certain is that until retirement, the world is going to change.
Yes, absolutely. And so you said it's tax-free growth until retirement. So that would be a tax-deferred option.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
This means that one thing that's going to happen is the world is going to look different than it does today. So the probability that we have to tailor your investment and change it is very high.
Yes, absolutely.
Almost a certainty.
Yep.
However, if you're doing this just on the market without the pension cloak or the insurance cloak, this would mean that you are paying taxes every time you sell or trade these assets and change your portfolio. But it is inevitable that in such long periods of time, 15 years plus at least, 30, 40 is the recommended period for pension, you would in this case have to change your asset to adapt to the time, more sustainably oriented assets, perhaps for some people halal investment, even changes in regulations for Americans, for example, and so on and so forth. So all of these needs to be taken into account, and the way pensions insurances are regulated in Germany is that they allow you to change your funds and to have flexibility in your assets in a tax-optimized way. In addition to that, there are tax-deferred options that give you positive tax returns or reduce your tax leverage at different points in time. Obviously, as not a tax advisor, a financial advisor, I cannot provide direct tax advice. Can just talk about the tax assets and their implications in this case. And in Germany, we have 3 levels.
Okay. Level 1, level 2, level 3.
The first level, the foundation, is the statutory system.
Okay, and remind me, that is the compulsory pension that you're required to make, right?
For every person who is an employee or freelancers who are not allowed to or don't want to free themselves, money goes into the statutory system. For some professions, it goes into specific chambers of the statutory system separately, like, for example, lawyers, for example, doctors.
Yes.
Goes into a sub part of the statutory system, so to say, but it still belongs to the statutory system. You mentioned company pension.
Employer funded, right?
Yes, correct. Employer and employee most of the times. There are different models. It's a fascinating topic.
Yep. That's a whole YouTube video on its own, so we'll get to that in the future.
This is a fantastic topic we do lots of consulting on as well. And then we have 3 different assets, right? And they all have different criteria. So the 3 levels are basically composed by different characteristics. The first layer, it's a safe pension in the sense that it's a monthly pension. It's always something that you get monthly, and it's always something that you would receive until the day you die, and so on. And the second layer is more characterized by leverage, meaning when, for example, if you know when you want to buy something really nice, and you chip in with your friends because you're like, hey, do you want to buy this with me together?
Yeah, sure.
And you know, if you can, for example, plan nice holidays in Tuscany, and you say, okay, I want to rent this villa, but you kind of need 10 people to be able to get the nice holidays. So you're like, okay, I'm just gonna call my friends. Let's go there. Similar to this, leverage plays a game here. In the company pension, you have the advantage that you're repurposing what you pay into the state and taxes, and your employer also contributes to this. So you have 3 ways, 3 investors, so to say, that are leveraging your pension, your individual personal pension.
As a real example, I have a company pension with my employer, and so I sacrifice 281 euros a month, and they add additional income on top of that and put it into my company pension.
And that is depending on the investment plan that you chose, invested at a different rate, and this will continue to multiply and generate assets for you.
Exactly, and you bet I picked the most risky one because I'm a risky girl.
All of these, however, everything that is on this first and second layer comes with certain terms and conditions, because you have either the leverage or in this asset here, called also basis pension or RUP.
The RUP.
RUP or basis pension. It's named after a politician, that's why the name. So the basis pension in this case, it's a tax optimizing asset before retirement. Now, everything below this red line here, so the first and the second layer completely, they all share the same terms and conditions regarding what is the earliest you can retire, regarding how can you access this money, regarding who can you inherit this to, and so on and so forth. However, the third layer, and this is what we usually call private pension, just to clarify, this asset, this asset, this asset, they're all private pensions because they're not from the state. But what we call private pension, we're referring to this third layer, flexible, your own, do as you want kind of pension. And then there is one more asset called Riester, also named after a person. This one is one that we no longer discuss so much because the current conditions on the market have changed in 2022, which means that this is no longer the most recommendable asset for growth and cost ratio, basically, and also the geographical conditions for expats. In most companies on the market, experience base are not so good. So this is the one that I usually I'm gonna cross it off. If you already have one, don't panic. There are many different visa contracts out there. There used to be really good contracts as well. We work with them in our company as well. It's just a matter of checking individually if you have the right one for your individual situation and preferences. And it's not the end of the world if you had one.
Confused about what to do with your money abroad? Well, I can help with that. My financial fluency course will give you the perfect overview of how taxes work, budgeting methods, investing options, and so much more. Check the description for details.
It used to be a great asset to save taxes and get subventions. Fantastic benefits in this area. Now in 2022, I'm putting a cross here, which means that leaves us with company pension, private pension, and RUP to play with, right? So when we're choosing as a client, so when we're choosing, for example, how to work in case studies, as we had today with Roxanne and with Luz and so on, how do we choose what combination of this suits the client best? And how do you want to tailor your own financial planning? Then it's really important to discuss topics such as, when do you want to retire? Where do you see yourself retirement? What does retirement mean for you, and what does that look like? How do you feel about investing in the market? How much experience do you have? What do you need to understand behind that? How much is your money growing for you? What access to assets do you have depending on your nationality? How hard is your money working for you? And if you plan to stay in Germany in the long term, how tax optimized is this during retirement as well, which is something that comes only with a third layer, for example. So these are all very relevant points to mix up on how to do this. Regarding, for example, at what point in time and how do you access this? With the right companies, with the right financial instruments within these categories, you can secure assets as an expat that regardless how long you stay in Germany, you will be able to receive this wherever you are in the world. And this is a huge cornerstone of planning, making your stay in Germany while you are in that, I don't know what it's about your community, but what we have all the time is people coming to us and they be like, I'm not sure. And that paralyzes us. That indecision, just you're in between, and then before you notice, 10 years have gone by, 15 years have gone by, and you're suddenly here, you're suddenly somewhere else, but your situation hasn't changed much. Your gap only got bigger, and your possibilities for your money to grow, which needs time, it's a long game, have decreased.
So for me, I'm not sure if I'm going to stay in Germany until I die of natural causes. So I've opted for a taxable brokerage and the employer funded pension because I can access those things in different countries when I've finally made my decision about where I'm going to be.
And the private pension can be something for, it's basically the expat best friend because it doesn't have any significant drawbacks in any way. And it's just a pension that allows you lots of flexibility while having this tax protection in the growth phase. So if you end up staying in Germany, after all, you have secured the asset with the lowest tax bracket, basically, allowing you to optimize what you get during retirement. The RURIP could be a super idea for anyone who is self-employed, married couples, and also top earners. So anyone wanting to pay a little bit less taxes during their work life, this could be a very, very strategic asset to have. However, obviously, this comes with terms and conditions. So again, if you say, oh no, I would like to have this age to retire, or I would like to have this type of flexibility, then we might have to coordinate them differently. But the options are there, and this combined with, for example, brokerage, combined with properties, combined with further wealth management assets and strategies are what are going to create a picture for your pension. And it's not just insurances, this is just, again, insuring you against this basic risk, laying the foundation, getting your money to compound in an optimized way. And on top of that, we have flexibility with diversification.
And why is it in a house shape here?
It's a really nice metaphor because you're building the foundation. So imagine, you could imagine it as well as columns if you wanted to, right?
Like pillars.
So how many pillars do you have that are sustaining the foundation? And if one suddenly tumbles, what happens to the rest? Or if one is too thin or fragile, right? So same as with building a house, strong foundation is important. And with foundation, it doesn't necessarily have to mean statutory system and RURIP, but this is the mix and match of the puzzle that makes the whole picture. And what does this picture look like? You get to decide individually based on how you want to live your future life.
Yeah, and I wouldn't make those decisions by yourself. You need professional help to understand the consequences, understand the fine print of these different options. So I would encourage you to head down to the description and find out more information about Martina, her company, and how they can help you make an educated decision about what you want to put in your house. So we are coming to the end of this video. Thank you so much for following along. If you've liked this video, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and the notifications button so you get updates about whenever I release a new video, which is every Wednesday. Martina, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find out more about you?
They can look at the info below. They can subscribe to Horbach Expats, follow us on Eventbrite page for further educational events. They can follow us on Instagram or our webpage and reach out directly anytime. We're happy to have you.
Don't forget, Wander Onwards has a financial fluency masterclass that is dedicated to financial wellness for expats. So how different currencies play a part into your budgeting, what these terms all mean, and of course, how to find out more about retiring early thanks to the FIRE movement. Head to the description for more information about that, and we will see you in the next video. Bye! Thanks for watching. If you liked that video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.